buffer material, which is of course the 1 foot buffer that's around the clean fill before we hit the potentially contaminated material that's underneath the building foundations. Next slide. Okay, air monitoring. We talked about this last time. Air monitoring, of course, is a important part of our project to make sure that we're minimizing dust. Of course, on the site we have a zero dust policy, so no visible dust. Our contractor is responsible for applying water and taking any measures to prevent the spread of dust. So there's 2 ways we do that. This here is a dust monitor. What this tells you is any particulates in the air. So if we have dust, it's a very sensitive instrument. It takes readings on a 1 minute increment, and it gives you an average over that minute of how much dust or particulates may be in the air. And this is a real-time instrument. So a technician can literally walk up to that instrument, hit a button, and find out in the field exactly what's gone on for the last hour, for instance, depending on the frequency of how quickly he checks. So air quality is obviously continually monitored with this instrument. And in addition to that, we have other instruments which I don't have a picture of, but it is a air pump that draws air across a filter, and that filter is then taken to a laboratory and run for all of our chemicals of concern at the site. So we have lead, PCB, PAHs. Radium-226 was left off of this. We do run radium-226, it just happens to be a different instrument, so or a different pump and a different station, air monitoring station. But we do run for lead, PCBs, PAHs, and radium-226. So we have laboratory results that go above and beyond our dust monitoring instruments that we have on site. And of course the results are posted on the website, PEMA website. Okay, activities schedule, 3 months looking ahead. So this figure here shows each solid waste disposal area, including our processing area, so Site 32 and Bigelow Court. It gives you an idea of what we will be doing when. I think everybody's heard us say that this project's going on for a year. Well, not every activity goes on for a year. Some start and stop after a month, and some continue for several months. So this gives you an idea of what we'll be doing for the next 3 months. Of course, I'm sure I'll be back here in 2 months explaining to you our progress at that time. However, if you want to know what's happening next week, this will give you a good idea. Next slide. Okay, schedule of milestones. So as I mentioned, excavation started in May. We hope to complete the excavations at all 3 solid waste disposal areas in August. After the excavations are complete, then we actually start our sidewall testing and sampling and radiological scanning of the sidewalls of the excavation. So there's a lot of work. Just because the excavations are complete doesn't mean that we walk off the site. Soil processing will continue into September. Of course, there's several samples that need to be taken from each pad, and that turnaround time takes a little bit for us to process each pad. So that goes on until September. And in November, we hope to start, or we hope to complete the waste disposal. So any of the soil that was processed on the pads, we'll take radiological samples. When the radiological samples come back clean, then we take a chemical sample to determine the waste disposition, and then the material is shipped off. We're not reusing any material from the radiological pads. So by November, all that soil will be off to the landfill. And by March of next year, we hope to have the radiological surveys complete of the excavations themselves. Site restoration, we will write a report in June, and then we will issue a final remedial action completion report in that same month. So that gives you a rundown of the big milestones.